Hello, welcome to Algorithms. My name is Saurabh, and today we are going to discuss about an architecture which explains how to train a recommendation model using Azure Databricks and deploy it as an API by using Azure Cosmos DB, Azure Machine Learning, and AKS, that is known as Azure Kubernetes Service. Okay, so let's get started. So let's look at the scenario first so that it is clear to everyone what we are talking about. So the scenario is that a media company wants to provide movie or video recommendations to its users by providing personalized recommendations. The organization meets several business goals, which are increased click through rates, increased engagement on site, and higher user satisfaction. And this is a very common scenario. Means even if you look at Netflix or some other real-time movie streaming websites, that's what their aim is, to increase your click-through rates, increase the engagement on site, or higher customer satisfaction. Now let's look at the reference architecture and the data flow. So the data flow for this recommendation is to first track user behavior. So for instance, a backend service might log when a user rates a movie or clicks a product or news article. So for instance, you go to a movie website, you click on a movie, you watch it for some time, you don't like it, you move on to some other movie. So it belongs to a certain category, it belongs to certain genre, so on and so forth. So when you are doing this, it is going to collect the data, and then the second step, it is going to load the data into Azure Databricks from available data source. Okay, third step is to prepare the data and split it into training and test to train the model. And training and test, we all know, it is like 80-20 ratio, that's a standard. Okay, then use a collaborative filtering model. If you are familiar with artificial intelligence, and if you are familiar with collaborative filtering, it is used for recommendation engines. So we are using Spark collaborative filtering. So you choose the model, and then you use the data to train your model. Okay, evaluate the quality of model by using a rating and ranking matrix. We will not go into the details of each step, but the reason is to go through the reference architecture and explain you the different steps. Now pre-compute the top 10 recommendations per user and store as a cache in Azure Cosmos DB. Then deploy an API service to Azure Kubernetes service using the Azure Machine Learning API to containerize and deploy the API. So when the backend service gets a request from a user, call the recommendations API hosted in AKS, which is Azure Kubernetes service, to get the top 10 recommendation and display them to the user. Now we have used different components in the architecture. We have used Azure Databricks, we have used Azure Kubernetes service, we have used Azure Cosmos DB, we have used Azure Machine Learning, and Microsoft Recommenders. Most of the components are already explained in some of the previous presentations, so I'm just going to explain the Azure Databricks. So Databricks is a development environment used to prepare input data and train recommender model on a Spark cluster. Okay, Azure Databricks also provides an interactive workspace to run and collaborate on notebooks for any data processing or machine learning task. You can read more about Azure Databricks if you like. From the cost considerations, there are three factors. One is the Azure Databricks cluster size required for the training, the Azure Kubernetes service cluster size required to meet your performance requirement depending upon the what you are trying to achieve, the scale that you are trying to achieve. And then the third is Azure Cosmos DB RU's provision to meet your performance requirement. So these are the key main drivers or the key drivers in terms of cost considerations. I guess this is it. Okay, let's go through the scalability considerations as well. So if you don't plan to use Spark, or you have a smaller workload where you don't need distribution, consider using Data Science Virtual Machine DSVM instead of Azure Databricks. So that is going to save your cost as well. So DSVM is an Azure virtual machine with the deep learning frameworks and tools for machine learning and data science. So as with the Azure Databricks, any model you create in a DSVM can be used as a service on AKS via Azure Machine Learning. Okay. I guess this is it from my side. I'll cover more in-depth videos about AI using different use cases, but my goal is to cover as many use cases as possible, and then based upon your feedback, if we need to go in depth, we will go and look at different algorithms, AI algorithms. For instance, what type of collaborative filtering algorithm is used for this type of data, as we have different data sets, different hundreds and thousands of algorithms, which one to use in which use case. If you really want to go to that level, please drop your comments in the comment section, and we will take care of it. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe the video, like it, and have a great day. Thank you.